Movie Chickk. We have a special guest. I'm really excited about it. I've been asking her forever, and she's finally here. Just to let you guys know, we're filming late this week because there's been lots of scheduling conflicts. Tuesday night, Zoe and Megan went to cover the Good Dinosaur red carpet for us, so you can check that out. It will be up on the site tomorrow. This is some fun Good Dinosaur swag. If you haven't met Spot and Arlo yet, you want to. They're amazing, and I can't tell you anything about the movie because I have to keep my mouth shut until Monday, which is really, really hard. This is Miss Sabina. Sabina, where you write for a lot of different places,
yes.
But you also do a really fun podcast too, right?
Yep, I write for Legion of Leia. Is my general go-to. I podcast for them at Legion of Leia. So you can check that out on legionofleia.com.
And I love reading your stuff too, because I feel like there's so few women that do this that have really strong opinions, and you always have strong opinions, but you back your shit up, which I love.
Oh, thank you.
You gotta back your shit up. And you guys all know Megan.
Hey guys.
You know her, you love her, she's here. Also just want to let you guys know as well, because I am a big fan of letting you people know what's going on with the site. There's been lots of changes going on. Katie is now strictly over at AfterBuzz TV. We're very sad not to have her over at the Movie Chickk, but she's doing so many shows over there. So make sure you check her out over there. She may be back to guest. We're not sure. Her schedule is very busy, but she may be back in guest. And Zoe as well won't be here as often. She may come and do a guest once in a while, but because of scheduling conflicts, you won't see her as usually as you have been. And I don't want to do that to you because I love you. So now we are going to talk about some movie news. We're going to get right into it. No box office this week because it's already Thursday. No box office. Right into movie news. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is something that I don't know if I'm excited about yet. You'll find out. Anthony McCartan has signed on to pen the latest draft of Sony's Freddie Mercury biopic, which has been in development forever, like a decade. Sacha Baron Cohen was once attached to the project, but left over creative differences. McCartan also penned The Theory of Everything. So, Sabina, what do you think about this? Are we ever going to see it?
I hope we do. I'm a really big Queen fan. I grew up with the music because of my parents. And when Sacha Baron Cohen was announced as Freddie, I was so excited because I was like, this is perfect. He can sing. It was just like a few years after Sweeney Todd, so I thought this was a good match. But then he like fell away from it, and then it was back in pre-development hell. But now there's an update, so that's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited. What do you think about this, Megan?
I am all for it. Like any kind of forward momentum on a project that's been in development hell for so long is always kind of encouraging, but you always have to take it with a grain of salt too, because it's like, yay, one step forward. When am I going to hear the news about the 2 steps back? Because with projects like this, that always seems to happen. And so it's really sucky when you're like, yay, progress. What's the bad news?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really interesting that Sacha Baron Cohen isn't attached anymore, because he's a very interesting actor to me. He doesn't do a lot. He picks his things very carefully. It's kind of like we see him every couple of years, and then we don't see him. And I feel like I read somewhere, and you guys can check out, there's an article right now on Slash Film by Jack Giroux, who's also, by the way, my roommate. And I think it was in his article that it said that, I believe it was the Queen members that didn't want Sacha Baron Cohen to play Freddie Mercury because they felt as if he would take away from Freddie and people would see Sacha Baron Cohen and not Freddie. And I feel the opposite. I feel like every time Sacha Baron Cohen is in a film, he completely reinvents himself and we see something different. So that really kind of threw me for a loop. Check out that article on Slash Film, because I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
I totally agree with you because, like you said, he only does a project every few years.
Yeah.
So it's not like we have this oversaturation of Sacha Baron Cohen doing like his whole variety thing with like Borat and Bruno. He'll do like a drama, and then he'll do one of his comedy things, and it's not like overwhelming. So I thought that he could totally make that transformation as Freddie.
I can understand where they're coming from, though. I think he's a great actor, and especially a really great character actor, and he looks the part, which is really, really, probably a really important thing when you're doing a biopic. But I can understand where they're coming from, because he is such a character actor and he's done such cartoonish roles. I can understand the concern of people being like, that's not Freddie Mercury, that's Sacha Baron Cohen pretending to be Freddie Mercury. But granted, I mean, that's what happens whenever you get any actor with a name to them playing a biopic role. I mean, one of the reasons why Jennifer Lopez, got her start was because she was able to do Selena, but didn't have much of a name to her prior to that.
I would have loved to have seen some footage of him becoming Freddie, because I feel like when Chadwick Boseman signed on to do the biopic of James Brown, no one thought he could do it. And while that movie may not have been a huge success, if anyone watched it, he fully embodied James Brown. I mean, I was lucky enough to meet James Brown once before he passed in Hollywood, and Chadwick Boseman, it was scary. I mean, he did everything down to like the finger twitch. It was, I mean, he fully, and I literally have the goosebumps talking about it, because I couldn't fathom how much he became James Brown. Like, it was crazy to me. And I'm actually more excited about this now because McCartan is doing the story, because The Theory of Everything, that's a story that a lot of people maybe didn't know, but those of us who did, I wasn't super excited to see more about this man. But then I watched the movie, and it's a movie that I can rewatch over and over and over again because the story was done so well. So I'm excited to see him write it. Who knows? I don't know how we feel about this next news, and I can't wait to hear what you ladies have to say about it, because Baywatch is becoming a film. Not only is it becoming a film, but it's found its lead actress. According to Deadline, Alexandra Daddario has won the leading role, and she will be the love interest of Zac Efron's character for Paramount's reboot. The film also stars Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, for those of you who don't know, who starred alongside Daddario in San Andreas. Megan, what do you think about this news? I can't wait for this one.
Well, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, I'll be honest, I didn't grow up with Baywatch. It wasn't something, I mean, everybody knew the pop cultural references.
This is where I show my age.
Running. Oh, I mean, I was a kid.
Clips of it. I know, like, Hasselhoff was in it.
Yeah, and it was on TV
Pamela
when I remember it being on TV. I just didn't watch it because it didn't interest me. But obviously everybody knows all the pop culture references and things like that. The only way I could see a movie adaptation working is if it's a self-aware comedy. And with casting Dwayne Johnson, I could totally see that.
And Zac Efron.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not a big Zac Efron fan, and I was looking up, cast members on IMDb, and I realized that I have literally never seen a movie with this actress in it. And
really?
I think that's on me because I don't get out to the movies as often as I would like because I'm in grad school. But how can I get excited for something for an actress I've never seen and for a show I wasn't super jazzed about? It could be funny, it could be hilarious, it could be awesome, but I'm speechless. That's all I got.
Sabina, what do you think?
I actually haven't seen anything with Alexandra Daddario either, but I know she's been in horror. I've had friends who have recommended horror to me, like, oh, this girl's in it, but I never got to it. She doesn't really appeal to me.
Maybe I should give her a chance then. She's a horror movie.
Exactly. But I don't know. Like you said, I didn't grow up with Baywatch, so I don't know how to feel about it. But I do love The Rock, and I love Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. Yeah.
I actually didn't like him when he was in High School Musical, but he won me over with 17 again and Neighbors. He's really funny, and I would have loved to see him and The Rock work together in a comedy, but I wasn't quite envisioning this one being it.
I'm really curious to see if it's going to be a comedy or if they're going to try to do it kind of straight the way Baywatch was, which I mean, I can't. Like, I can't deal.
They call 21 Jump Street it, though.
Can't. Yeah, but if they do that, that's fine. I'm totally all about making it a comedy and a parody movie and having fun with it. But literally, okay, Jennifer Lawrence is talking about how women are not making enough money in Hollywood, and then you want to remake Baywatch. So if you're going to make it serious, that's putting women 35 years back. Like, I hate to be the girl that says that, but what made Baywatch popular was girls in really high-waisted red bathing suits and their boobs hitting their face when they ran on the beach. There was no substance. I love the Hoff, but I can't. If you're gonna make it a comedy, however, I'm in. I love The Rock. I saw bits of San Andreas. I did not see the whole film because I live in California and I'm afraid of earthquakes, and every time I have one, I try to hide under my bed and I don't fit. So therefore, therefore, I did not last the entire movie. But what I saw of her, she was fine. I mean, like I said, my worst news, like the thing that I'm most upset about, is I want Zac Efron to start taking his career more seriously.
That's true.
I've said this, and people have hung me out to dry on YouTube. The Wolverine conversation keeps happening. Is Hugh Jackman? I could see Zac Efron as the next Wolverine. Because
no way.
When you see him in serious roles, when the John F. Kennedy movie that nobody else saw but me, he was amazing. When he takes serious roles, he's amazing at them. He's a really good actor, but he keeps picking these projects. Zach, call me. Let's talk. You have to start taking this more seriously. He has the look, he has the body, he could do it, but if he keeps taking these comedic roles, he's never going to be taken seriously in Hollywood. That's all I have to say. That's it. I think he'd be a good Wolverine.
I've actually not seen him in any of the dramatic parts he's taken. It's been
none
stuff like
whatsoever.
Charlie St. Cloud, and I'm just like, I have no interest in watching that.
The Nicholas Sparks movie that he did was actually not bad. Like, that was one of the Nicholas Sparks movies that I could handle.
St. Haven?
St. Haven?
No.
No?
It was like a letter one. He wrote a letter.
Dear
And
John?
No, that was Channing Tatum. We
They're all
digress. We
Every
digress.
Nicholas Sparks movie is the same.
But they're all amazing, and I cry at every single one, and I own all of those. And it's very sad that I admitted that.
I've seen the Notebook.
It's just between
I
you
feel like
and
you've
I.
seen them
No
all
one will
after
know.
that.
No one will know. All right, this is rumor control, guys. This is serious rumor control. So I'm want to put a spoiler. This is not a fact. We do not know this for sure. There is a paper called Le Journal de Montreal. Like my accent? Because I don't have one. They broke the X-Men reshoots news that Hugh Jackman was coming back for the X-Men reshoot. So they're the ones who broke that news. They're now reporting that the X-Men team is returning to Montreal in November of 2016 for a shoot that will start in 2017 for a film that is going to be released in 2018. And the rumor is...
so confusing.
I know. But the rumor is that what they will be filming is the sequel to X-Men Apocalypse, and that Bryan Singer will be returning at the helm. Once again, just a rumor. We're not sure if this is true, but if it is true, I think what I would ask mostly is, are you excited to see Singer return to helm X-Men Apocalypse if we have a sequel?
I'm actually not the biggest fan of his.
Ooh.
I really liked the Matthew Vaughn X-Men movie, and then I was really disappointed when he didn't come back for the other ones. So there's just so much happening with Apocalypse. I want to see Apocalypse first before I get lumped on some more X-Men news. And I mean, what if there's a rumor going around that what if Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse doesn't die at the end of Apocalypse, so it kind of just goes on to the next one?
That would be amazing, because anything that has more Oscar Isaac in, I mean, ever since Inside Llewyn Davis, he had me at hello. It's the only interview, by the way, ever that I've done that I screwed up and couldn't even speak to him because I was so in awe of him. The words were not coming out of my mouth. I called him Llewyn. I was like, so tell me, Llewyn, what's it like playing Oscar?
Oh, no.
And he was just looking at me, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's try that again. So anything with him more is good. But I feel like, what do you think, Megan?
On the one hand, I really love a lot of the X-Men movies. They're certainly hit or miss. They've had their highs, they've had their lows, I personally think. I agree, Matthew Vaughn's was one of the best ones. And I get exhausted when I start hearing about a sequel to a movie that hasn't come out yet, because it's just going to keep the license out of Marvel's hands for a little bit longer.
Yep.
And that's what this whole thing is about. And on the one hand, I love what Fox can do with the X-Men franchise. They've done some great things. They've done some not so great things. It makes me exhausted, because I'm like, how long do I have to wait until I can see Wolverine with the Avengers?
Forever.
It's never gonna
That's
happen,
not
guys.
gonna happen.
It's never gonna
I'm
happen.
sorry. I'm sorry. My roommate yesterday called me a dream crusher. I'm sorry. It's never
Way
gonna
to
happen.
crush my dreams.
And what
I mean, I
if
don't
they take
think-
Oscar Isaac with them, though?
That's the thing, is like, there's absolutely no reason why there can't be collaboration. Spider-Man's gonna be in the MCU. Play nice, Fox.
Yeah.
Play nice, just play nice.
It's never gonna happen. I want to see Singer return. I fell in love with Days of Future Past so much and his involvement in it, and I feel like I loved First Class. And I was like, okay, First Class is good, but there's still now all these problems with all the X-Men movies. Like, things aren't matching up, like timelines are getting confused. And then Days of Future Past, for me, fixed all the continuity problems in the X-Men universe. For me, anyway. Like, I felt like
basically retconned everything.
they did. They were like, let's just squash everything that happened because we messed it up, and now we're gonna make it better, and now we're gonna open up an opportunity to keep making tons more, and now we can just change everything, which is really exciting to me to see where that's going to go. So yes, I want to wait till Apocalypse comes out to make sure that it wasn't a one-trick pony and that it's going to continue to do great things, because when I saw First Class, I didn't think anything could top that. And then Days of Future Past came out, and I was like, oh my god, that's my favorite X-Men movie. And I still keep, like, I feel like for a while, I was like, oh, I'll just watch it because it's X-Men and they're going to be okay. But, you know, I wasn't totally on board with new ones until First Class. And then Days of Future Past, I was like, I am game. Let's do this. I'm ready for Apocalypse. So I want to see it to see if it's going to be just as good and if they're going to continue that uphill momentum or if it's going to crash and burn. Because if it crash and burns, then I don't want him back, right? But if it doesn't crash and burn, then I would like to see him return.
I do want to express one more concern. As much as I love Bryan Singer when he is behind the wheels of an X-Men movie, because there has yet to be a bad one where he's directed it, I do worry about kind of director's fatigue doing
because if that's the case, he'll be doing X-Men Apocalypse. As soon as that wraps, he's doing that other movie that I can't remember, and then as soon as that would wrap, he would go right into this. That's a lot of work for a director.
It's a lot of work, and it's also a lot of being involved in the same world for so many movies.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, like, I trust him with the franchise more than I trust anybody else, but on the other hand, I don't want him to get burned out on it. Because we've seen what happens to directors with franchises when they themselves get burned out on it. We have 3 Hobbit movies. We get...
Peter Jackson just announced that he was like, I was totally winging it. Like, what?
Yeah, who says that? Who says that? Like, who says that in that position? Like, you just don't... Sorry, I was trying to look up the movie that Bryan Singer's doing in between, and I can't.
Leaves Under the Sea.
The 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, thank you, yeah. So at least he'll be out of that world, but 20,000 Leagues is an intensive world too, and they're creating that from scratch. So that's a lot. That's just a lot.
I worry about him getting burned out. That is a concern.
Well, this next news, talk about being burnt out. Well, maybe not for some of us, because it looks like we're getting more Fast and even more Furious. Vin Diesel has revealed this week that they are in early stages of development. I worked all day on saying that line, by the way. He's revealed that they're in early stages of developing prequels and spin-offs, but are focusing now on the sequels, like Fast and Furious 8, which will have F. Gary Gray at the helm, and he was the director of Straight Outta Compton. Sabina, what do you think about this news?
I'm actually really excited. I was not a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise when it started out, but when Dwayne The Rock Johnson came on, I totally got into it. It just started being fun, and they're just movies that have really great characters, really great relationships. Like, it's about family. So I'm excited for the possibility of there being like a female-fronted Fast and Furious movie.
Yes,
which would be great. Like
that
a spin-off with
fantastic.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, I'll watch anything she said.
Yeah.
Sorry.
On the one hand, as fun as these movies are, I'm not exactly a huge fan of them, and it's one of those things where I work at NBC Universal, and so I see tons of like Fast and Furious is now part of the Universal Tram Ride, and I'm kind of like, really, guys? Like, you have to put it into everything. So for me, I'm getting a little oversaturated with it. That being said, little fatigue, but that being said, they're really fun movies, and if this news means that we're getting more fun popcorn action movies, I'm all for it.
I am so excited for this. This is a franchise for me that just keeps getting better.
Oh yeah.
So the only one that we don't talk about is Tokyo Drift. We pretend that one just didn't happen. It doesn't exist. They never made it. We just pretend that one didn't happen. But other than Tokyo Drift, every single film continued to just get better and better and better. And for me, if they can keep that, that is so exciting for me. I would love to see where they're going to go next. I mean, it's, you know, I still can't watch a scene with Paul Walker without crying. It's so tragic. But he would want the franchise to continue, and he would want to see it continue to do well. And I want to see where they're going to take it without him. I want to see a female-fronted one. I want to see a spin-off with Michelle. I like all those ideas. Like, those are all fantastic.
Make it happen.
Make it, yeah, let's do this.
Take our money.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on the ride because I'll get sick, but I will totally sign up for a movie.
There's
because
totally nausea-inducing.
yeah, no,
really
no way, no way. You drive with me, and you're gonna get nauseous. So I don't need to be on a ride that's going to be like my drive-in. I just don't.
Well,
I don't.
and what's funny too is that it is a lot like being on the LA freeway. Like, I think that's part of the shtick.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
It's like, oh no, we gotta get onto the 101.
Yeah, like that scene in Clueless where they're learning how to drive and they accidentally get on the 10 and they start all screaming and then they hug each other when they get off. That's how I feel every time I drive in LA. So I love, love, love this franchise. And I really want to see what F. Gary Gray does with it as well. Because that's such a huge jump from Straight Outta Compton. I mean, I loved Straight Outta Compton.
So good.
But this is a big jump and I'm really excited to see where he takes it.
Well, I mean, James Wan was also a surprise when they cast him. When they cast him as the director. That's not the right word. When they hired him to direct.
And it goes back to what you said about there's no director's fatigue. We had a different assortment of directors take on the franchise.
Yeah.
And F. Gary Gray is amazing, and he is doing this instead of Black Panther. So
yeah, that's big. To me, that puts faith in the project, though.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It puts huge faith. When you say no to a superhero movie that people are waiting for and wanting, and you're going into a franchise that's going into its 8th sequel, like, that puts faith into what they're going to put out for me.
We could have had it.
We still might. All right, guys, we are going to head to the trailer park now because who doesn't love the trailer park? Some amazing trailers have hit in the past just 24 hours, never mind past week. So the first one we will talk about is the When Monster Calls trailer. Because, so we all actually watched them right before we started filming because I forgot to watch them. So we all watched them together, which was really fun. What did you ladies think of When Monster Calls?
I thought that it's Liam Neeson saying, "I'm not Groot." But it was still, it's not a funny movie, but it's very unsettling, but it goes into a very whimsical state at the end of it, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I am 100% in agreement with you because when we first start the trailer and it's talk of the Invisible Man and it's Liam Neeson using this much more guttural sound.
Gravelly sound,
exactly, than I've heard it, probably since like Darkman. That like, and we're focusing on this kid and like, it's like, where is this going? It's uncomfortable. But then as like the music starts to swell and it has a very whimsical turn towards the end of it. And the director behind this is the same guy who did The Orphanage. For any of you guys who are familiar with international horror movies, that carries a lot of weight to it.
Well, that's what I was confused about because I saw that it said it's about a young boy who's seeking the help of a tree monster to cope with his mom's terminal illness. I did not get that at all from the trailer. At all. Like, I didn't get that the mom was sick.
Trailer.
Yeah, and I think to me, which is really funny because it's kind of the opposite of what you just said, I love Liam Neeson. I mean, when you are talking about the movies that he's done since Taken, the Tombstone movie he's so intense. He's got these very grisly roles after Taken where he's been kind of like the good bad guy. And so when I heard him talk as the tree, I felt the complete opposite. I thought if he's supposed to be this monster tree, why does he sound so soothing to me? Like there was something so completely soothing. It was like, hello Liam Neeson, you're a giant tree and I want to hug you. Like, it just felt so, like, calming and soothing and not monstery at all. It's so interesting. I love
Again,
that.
he is Aslan, so
Yes.
and even if he is using a much deeper voice, knowing that it's Liam Neeson, it's hard not to love him because as a person, Liam Neeson's really great.
And I also want to mention that Felicity Jones and Sigourney Weaver are in this, which we didn't see them in the trailer, but they're both attached to it, which I think is really interesting as well.
Now, if nothing else, this movie is going to have tone and atmosphere.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
Yeah.
like really distinctive, and so I'm looking
It has
forward
a giant
to
talking tree, like Groot. The next movie we're going to talk about is Now You See Me Too, which I have been so excited about since the first one. We all just watched the trailer again together. What did you think, Sabina, of Now You See Me Too?
The very first thing I thought was, where's Isla Fisher? Because I loved her in the first one. But Lizzie Kaplan is a great addition. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And I will watch anything she does.
Yes.
And also, Daniel Radcliffe is in it, so of course.
Harry Potter's doing magic again!
doing bad
Yay.
magic.
Screaming,
Ta-da!
by the way. So excited. What did you think, Megan?
For me, I'm looking at this film and I can't wait to see the spectacle. There's just something about performance magic that's just very endearing and very engaging. And it looks like the tricks that they have in store for this movie, even if the first one had quite a few plot holes, it looks like the visuals in this one are absolutely worth the price of admission.
And it's amazing how their performance magic totally lends itself to the heist aspect of it.
Exactly.
Because everyone's so enthralled by what's happening that they totally miss it when stuff goes down.
I'm interested. I really liked Louis Leterrier's story in the first one. I didn't find as many holes in it, and I was really hoping that he would come back for the second one because it was something that he was really passionate about and loved. So I'm kind of bummed he's not coming back. I am excited to see that John Chu's directing it because I feel like I love his work. I really do. I mean, I don't know that there's been anything that he's put out that I really hated, and I'm excited to see him do that. And I loved seeing Daniel Radcliffe. Like,
Yes.
to see him back in the arena of magic and not be Harry Potter. I wondered how his career was going to go. We've seen other actors and actresses from that franchise go on and not do really well. And I wondered if he was going to just forever be Harry Potter. And I saw a couple different things with him and felt like, oh, he's still Harry Potter. And then I just recently caught What If on like Showtime or HBO, and it's a romantic comedy that he's in. And it was the first time that I saw him and didn't see Harry Potter. Like, he was an adult, and I wanted to date him by the end of the movie because he was so adorable. It was a great romantic comedy. So I'm really excited to see him in this because it'll be interesting to see him in a magic world, but not Harry Potter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. The last movie I saw him in was Kill Your Darlings, where he played Ginsberg. And I thought that it's really good that he's been picking projects that were either really independent or interesting. I think last year he did Horns.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch that. But
No, that was too much for
I
me.
didn't get around to it either. It's in my Netflix queue,
Yeah.
like a million other things. But one thing I was really impressed by when he was first stepping away from the Harry Potter franchise was The Woman in Black. And I had really high standards going into that movie because I love the stage show so much. And so actually seeing him do a really, really good job in The Woman in Black, I was genuinely impressed. And also scared, because that movie had me looking at the corner of my eye for like hours afterwards.
I did not see that movie because you guys know I'm a scaredy cat and will never sleep again. But I saw clips of him in that movie, and the clips, I mean, I know clips can be deceiving. You can look like you're a great actor, but the clips that I saw of him in that were like, I mean, just amazing. Like, he was a totally different thing than I'd ever saw. But I hadn't seen the movie as a whole, so I couldn't say.
Do you want to watch it
If
together?
it was no. Are you gonna live here and protect me when I wake up in the middle of the night screaming?
Oh no, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, no. My dogs will hate me forever. It'll be like the no.
We should watch it. It'll be fun.
Not gonna happen. Okay, the next trailer we are going to talk about is How to Be Single. This one was really fun.
Really
Megan,
funny.
what did you think?
I have to give this trailer a lot of credit because I'm not a big raunchy comedy person, and I'm also not a big chick flick person. But this movie looks like it walks that line of like emotional, heartfelt chick flick and raunchy comedy so well. And the humor that we do get to see in this trailer is genuinely funny. I'm honestly, I don't know what accent that was. I'm honestly very impressed with this one, but I am worried that I just watched all the funniest parts. And that's my fear with any comedy trailer that I'm excited about.
I thought the same thing.
There are too many really good jokes.
Really good. What did you think about the trailer?
I'm really excited that after Trainwreck, we're now seeing a lot of female-fronted movies being.
Women are people too.
Women are people too. No. It's not just the mopey rom-com where oh no, I can't date anyone, and I keep getting rejected, and guys have all the fun. No, in
or
movies,
the beginning of The Other Woman when they're you're prettier. No, you're prettier. Yeah. No, but you're pretty. Oh my god, I can't.
But I know that this one was great because you have Rebel Wilson totally talking smack to Dakota Johnson's character. I really liked how she gets a peek at her hoo-ha. And again of is that Gandalf in there telling penis shall not pass? I thought it was great.
It was amazing. I laughed so hard during that trailer. You guys were with me, so you saw it. And I don't remember the last time I laughed that hard at a trailer. And I've been so disappointed with the last couple of really big comedies that I've seen, and not so much maybe romantic comedies, but the Neighbors I hated, the Last Night that I just saw. Is that the night? Last Night? The new
The Night
Christmas
Before?
movie,
The
Night Before.
I
know, and you know what? The whole audience I was with loved it, and I thought it was okay. I still cried at the end, but the jokes I didn't love. I liked the story, not the jokes. And for this one, I couldn't stop laughing. And Dakota Johnson owns Valentine's Day for the next 5 years because of the 50 Shades franchises. She's the Valentine's Day it girl.
She's the best part of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
because even in her performance, you can tell that she is totally just rolling with it.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. She has so much more life in her.
And she's more tolerable. She's way more tolerable than Anastasia
She's
in the
so
books.
tolerable.
Oh, she is tolerable, which is a terrible thing to say. She's tolerable.
It's nice to see her get work outside of 50 Shades of Grey because she looks very fun and endearing in this. Not so much in 50 Shades, but
she's so self-aware. There's so many moments in that movie where I'm just she's just this is shit. Anyway.
Yeah, I've never seen her this funny either, which I really liked. And I had kind of hoped for a Need for Speed sequel because I hoped that they would have brought her character back and made her more integral to the story because I was one of those who really loved Need for Speed. But you're right.
Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted that to launch off into a franchise.
It did. I loved that movie. That movie was so much fun for me, and I don't know why it didn't do better. I think it was too close to Fast and Furious, the opening, and so I think people hadn't jumped off the Fast and the Furious high yet, and it came out too soon next to that. If they had waited a little while, I think it would have been a lot better.
And I want to see Aaron Paul as more than just Jesse Pinkman. I think he's such a great performer.
Yes.
It was that, and also it's an adaptation of a video game.
Right.
So, and that a lot of times, even before the movie ever comes out, a lot of people will write it off because they're video game.
Talking to you, Gem fans. Side-eyeing those Gem fans.
Truly outrageous.
I mean, just don't hate on a movie before you see it. That's all I'm gonna say.
See it and then hate on it.
You can say it all you want, but see it before you judge it. Because when you do exactly what Megan's saying, and you judge a book by its cover, and you don't even give the movie a shot by seeing it, then you know what? Screw you. I said it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
you can't. I didn't play Need for Speed, and I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, it was really fun. So maybe it wasn't a great adaptation of that video game, but go try to enjoy it. Everything's going to take liberties. Harry Potter, to me, is the most perfect book to film adaptation, and they still took liberties. And it's still, to me, a perfect adaptation. So they're going to take liberties. It's going to happen. Just suck it up and watch it before you naysay it. Because I'm so sick of all these people that are going on these blogs and saying, don't go see this movie, and then not even giving the movie a chance, and the movie being not half bad. Like Need for Speed, perfect example. I had no idea that it was in a video game adaptation.
Yeah, I think that ties in a lot to why it didn't do well, is because people get this, there's a connotation when there's a video game adaptation.
I think they're all just negative Nancy's. All right, the next trailer we're going to talk about is The Huntsman Winter's War. This was a fun trailer to watch because I didn't realize it was a sequel. And the girls killed me.
It's a sequel prequel. I was so confused because they announced it as a prequel. prequel, but then it seems like it's a sequel at the same time.
Yeah.
But then there's flashbacks to Chris Hemsworth and Jessica Chastain as children, being trained to be huntsmen by Emily Blunt, who looks the same when they're older. So there's just a lot of like...
Well, because she's the Wicked Witch, she doesn't age.
Yeah.
Or the Ice Queen.
She's
the
an
Ice Queen.
Totally capitalizing on the Frozen
I was
thing.
gonna say, on the
Kids
one
are gonna
hand,
be like visually attracted to
on
it.
the one hand, I want to see more stories of the Ice Queen, and that is 100% attributed to Frozen, because it looked at a character from a new light. On the other hand, looking at this, it's like you guys are just blatantly capitalizing on it, and that's frustrating. It's gonna look cool.
So cool.
Dang it. It's gonna look cool, but what I'm really excited is seeing Charlize Theron back. Seeing Charlize Theron and Emily Blunt on screen together at the same time is going to be magic.
I still am laughing at the fact that I didn't know that this was the second movie, because they had to remind me that it was the movie with Kristen Stewart, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't finish that one. I watched half of it and couldn't finish it.
I was watching it and rooting for Charlize the whole time, and I think I stopped watching it because I was like, this is gonna end horribly for her. I don't want to watch this anymore.
Honestly, she is the best part.
Yeah.
And like, even Chris Hemsworth, we love you, but Charlize Theron is the best part of that movie. And you're not supposed to, but you root for her.
The other one. I only remember Kristen Stewart. I do not remember Chris Hemsworth.
You might have fallen asleep before Chris
Maybe
Hemsworth
she
even
did
appeared on
watch.
All
screen.
I remember from the trailer is Charlize coming out of like a whole bunch of liquid and
Yeah.
her body being
Like
covered.
milk. It looked like milk.
Yeah,
I
I was
remember
like,
that.
whoa.
I wasn't sleeping for that part.
Lady crush.
Honestly, she is the best part, and you do root for her. So they might as well build on that. I'm not sure how they're going to bring her back to life, but
She's alive in this one.
she
Oh, yeah.
seems to be
Something.
alive and well, and just as much of a badass as ever.
I'm so excited for this because I don't even care if the movie's bad. That trailer was beautiful. Like visually, it was absolutely beautiful. The costumes were beautiful. The makeup was beautiful. I'm so excited to see Emily Blunt go bad. One of my favorite interviews ever is with her. She is just like a cup of tea. She's perfect. I love her. And to see her go bad is going to be really fun.
She hasn't done it since like Devil Wears Prada, right?
Right. I don't think
I don't
so.
think she's done
and
anything.
she's good at being bad. I love that role in Devil Wears Prada. That's another one that I watch at 2 a.m. when I can't sleep. But she looks amazing, and I can't wait to see Charlize Theron because I don't even remember her in the first one. I'm excited to see Jessica Chastain. I didn't even remember Chris Hemsworth was in the first one, so I'm excited to see him. Like I said, like I'm on board for this already, and don't even care if it's a bad movie just because it looks so pretty.
This needs to turn into like the evil witch Avengers, because
Yes!
Megan was saying earlier, she was like, I don't know how I feel about Emily Blunt as the Ice Queen. I mean, I could have seen Ava Green. I'm like, what if at the end of this one, Ava Green is one of like the other witches, and she just like walks in and it's Ava Green.
And then
Emily
Angelina
Blunt,
Jolie
Charlize.
comes in as Maleficent.
Yes! Then I'm really on board. Anything with Angelina
Do it.
Jolie. Oh my god, we just made the best movie ever. Why aren't these studios watching this show? Get on board, guys. We have good ideas.
You got really good ideas.
Really good ideas. All right, the last trailer.
Consultation fee if you guys steal that idea.
Yes. The last trailer we are going to hit in the trailer park is the Midnight Special trailer. Who's
that
going to go?
was-
Who would like to go first?
Well, I mean, much like When a Monster Calls, I had one idea of what this trailer was when it initially started, and it turned into something completely different by the time we get halfway through. Because the first thing you hear, basically, when the trailer starts is that there's an Amber Alert out for this little kid. And it's
I
very...
didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, there was an Amber Alert issued for the kid, so he's missing. And you're not sure, is this guy looking after him? Is this guy kidnapping him?
Right.
Is this guy, like, going to hurt him? You don't know. And then halfway through the trailer, you realize that he's trying to protect him because this kid seems to have some other worldly powers. I don't know if that means he's an alien or if he was, like, experimented on by the government or if he has psychic powers for no reason, like in a Stephen King book.
Yeah, like it just came from his eyes,
Yeah.
like this sort of like power, or like almost light.
Well, I
thing.
wondered why he had the goggles on at the beginning of the trailer. And so I didn't like think anything of it. I just thought, oh, that's the kid
He's
from
a
St.
quirky
Vincent.
kid.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then at the end, we see this light come out of his eyes, and I thought he was dying.
And
He looked like he was dying.
Or it's kind of like Cyclops-like, except he can
Yeah.
actually have some sort of grip on it, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has light shining from his hands. Like any second, he's gonna do a Kamehameha wave or something. And that people are either scared of him or thinking that he's some sort of messiah.
Savior, yeah.
So I guess a lot of the mystery behind this is why does he have these abilities and what does that mean for mankind?
Yeah, tonally it felt like Chronicle meets an Amblin movie meets the X-Men. But I've never
was
seen
super
anything.
intense.
Yeah, it was really intense.
Yeah.
Like I don't really get affected by trailers in that way that when I watch it I get like a visceral reaction, and I like had agita watching that trailer towards the end. Like it got really intense, and I can't even believe this, which I can now that I'm looking at it, but I looked up the cast and we saw Kristen Dunst, we saw Adam Driver, we saw Michael Shannon, we saw Sam Shepard, the little boy from St. Vincent, Jaden, but I did not recognize Joel Edgerton.
You didn't? Yeah,
And
he's
this
the
is
first
the
person you
second
see.
time that he's been unrecognizable to me. And The Gift, he was unrecognizable as well, and he is literally, like I did not know that was him. Now I'm excited to watch it just for his performance. And before, like, this is this looks like a very tense thriller to me. Like, I got, like, agita. Like, I remember it ending and just being like, oh dear. Because it was intense.
Yeah, because like anytime you have a movie where there's like superpowers, whether it's because of aliens or government testing or because of psychic abilities that are not explained, I mean, you always run the risk, especially when it's a kid too, you run the risk of it being campy or silly. They look like they play it so straight to the point where it's deadly serious.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, that's very intriguing. On the other hand, I'm like, am I going to be able to get through this movie without like dying?
Yeah, that's how I felt for The Call. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to the end of this movie. The Holly Berry movie, do you remember that? It was like she was a
Really
911 operator.
anxiety-inducing, yeah.
Yeah, that
the
whole
trailer, I was just
movie.
like, nope.
I was like, feet up, feet down, sweater up. Like I was like, I couldn't. I wanted to crawl out of my skin, but the payoff was it was a good movie. So I'm hoping that this looks the same way, as I feel like The Gift was very creepy as well. But seeing Joel Edgerton just unrecognizable to me,
He's
like
so great.
I can't get enough of him. I mean, with The Gift, he was acting, writing, and directing, and it was amazing. It was such a great film. So to see another film with him that he's like, I didn't even know it was him, like that's exciting to me. But it does look a little
Did you know it was
scary.
him in the Star Wars prequels?
Who did he play in the Star Wars?
No.
He played Uncle Owen. And
What?
now, looking back, I'm just like, why wasn't he Anakin? He could have been Anakin. It would have
Yes.
been way better. Because he would have made
Whoa.
that. Yeah, he was Uncle Owen.
I thought you were gonna say Jar Jar Binks. I really thought you were going there. I was like, please don't say it. Please don't do it.
Like, over the
Please
years,
don't.
I've been like, every time I see him in something, I'm like, he should have been Anakin. Why isn't he Anakin?
No, I
Like,
didn't even know he was in those.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. God damn it.
He's
I'm
so
gonna-
like baby face.
I
He
never
looks
thought
smart.
I'd say this. I'm gonna have to go
Rewatch
back and
them.
watch the prequels.
He's just in the last
Rewatch
one.
them.
I think it's just, yeah, because
The last one.
Well,
he's
that's
only
good.
in
That's
that
the
one,
best
right?
That's the best
Yeah.
one. Three's the
That's
best one out of all of them. Okay, so you guys love this segment, so of course we're gonna do it before we go. If you haven't seen this, We Can't Be Friends. You guys seem to really like this one, so we're gonna start with Megan. Megan, what's your movie?
I get nostalgic around this time of year. You know, because it's towards, you know, the end of school and it's towards the holidays and everything like that. So I get real nostalgic and I worry that I'm going to get super judged for this one. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that Joel Schumacher's Phantom of the Opera was one of my favorite movies. I acknowledge it's a bad movie. I know that
It's
her.
great.
I know, but I watched it after taking the SAT when I was in high school. A whole bunch of other crazy stuff happened to me that day, and then I finally got to the movie theater with my friends. Had one of the first frappuccinos that I ever had, and it was just a wild, crazy ride watching this movie.
I've never seen it.
Really?
No.
Well, I guess we can't be friends.
I know. Jeez.
But and I totally developed a crush on Gerard Butler after that movie, which sometimes I think I've grown out of. Not all the time, but sometimes I think I've grown out of. Maybe. We'll see. I'm a grown up now. I can't be swayed.
Oh, I can totally be swayed. Totally.
But But yeah, so guys, I know, give it a chance. It's like, if nothing else, if you're not a big fan of musicals, it's not going to win you over. But if you
was
like,
so judged by like so many people.
it really was.
But the Phantom is like my universal monster.
I know.
Or just my monster is the best one. And the first book I ever read was The Phantom of the Opera. So I've always just like watched anything.
That was the first
Phantom
book
related.
you read?
Yes.
Like as a child?
I was like
Wow.
7 or 8.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Harry Potter books though.
Hey,
Yeah.
It was a combination of like that and Harry Potter.
See, I was
Universal's trying
too.
to Avengerize
I
their
know.
Universal monster movies. Maybe we'll see.
With
Yeah, I
which
didn't
would
want
be
to talk
amazing.
about that news.
But yeah, I watched that movie and I was at that age where it was like, this is like an adaptation. It looks so pretty.
It
But,
does.
yeah.
It looks very pretty.
I like
seen it.
It's so.
All right, I'll try it. Sabina, what's your movie?
My movie is, if you haven't seen it, is Heathers. If you
Yes.
haven't seen it, We Can't Be Friends.
Yes.
It's one of
Just
my
watched
favorite
that
dark
recently on
comedies.
Netflix.
Awesome.
It's on Netflix right now, guys.
Yeah, it totally has dark comedy aspects. It's a lot of fun. It's really violent. All the girl characters in it are great.
Never seen it.
You've never seen
It's on
it?
Netflix. You have no excuse. You have to watch it.
I hear great things.
It's such a great Christian Slater.
And Winona
Winona
Ryder.
Ryder. I mean, it's such a fun. It's campy and dark and fun and amazing. That's a good one.
I hear like Scream Queens borrows a lot from
Oh my
Heathers,
gosh,
and
she
I
borrows
love
from
Scream Queens.
Yeah, it
So
does.
I will totally be on
And
board
I
with
think
that.
that's why
Have
I
you
don't
seen
like
Jawbreaker?
Scream.
Yeah, no, I agree. My judgment against Scream Queens is that I love movies like Jawbreaker and Heathers.
Yes.
And,
Yes. God, we gotta be better
Yes.
friends. We gotta go more. Jeez.
And Mean Girls to an extent.
Yes.
Mean Girls did the best job at being a lighter version
Yes.
of Jawbreaker and Heathers. But with Scream Queens, I feel that Ryan Murphy has tried to top those characters that came before.
So that
Yeah.
They're too much. They're too
Yes.
over the top. And then you have a really bad disbalance because the leads on Scream Queens are really boring. Like I really wanted to like someone, and then I started to like 2 of the characters, and then one of them died.
Probably,
Of
yeah.
course.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I've checked out.
Yeah, but Heathers is amazing, and it's like one of my I grew up with like those '80s movies, and I love Heathers. Like it's one of my favorite because I'm way older than you guys. So I am going way more serious this week. For if you haven't seen The Good Lie, We Can't Be Friends. And mostly because of everything that's going on in the world right now, and I've gone back and rewatched it this week and got uber emotional as I did the first time. This was a movie that WB put out and banked on star power. It starred Reese Witherspoon, and they really thought that she was going to be able to carry it, and unfortunately it did not do well in the box office, and it's so sad because it's one of the most moving and life-changing movies I've ever seen. I love movies that give you the feels and change your life and make you want to be a better person. As much as I love the dark, campy, and the fantasies and the comedies, I love movies that make you just want to go out and do something nice for somebody. And The Good Lie is about Sudanese refugees and them coming to the U.S. and Reese Witherspoon is kind of their handler and has to assimilate them into the U.S. and get them jobs and have them do all these things, and she doesn't realize that they don't know what a phone is, so when it rings they don't know how to answer it, and it's just this amazing, powerful, moving movie that right now, especially with everything going on, everyone needs to see. I should have mentioned this at the top of the show, and I didn't. The Paris attacks are horrific and they're terrible, and I never want to take anything away from that because it shouldn't happen, but we also can't live in fear. And if you want to learn how to not live in fear, The Good Lie, I know I went totally serious on this. I don't know why, I'm sorry. But if you want to know why you can't live in fear, then The Good Lie is something that I think everyone should. I think they should show it in schools. Like, that's how important of a movie I think this is. I don't know if you could hear that, but my dog is screaming at the top of her lungs right now, telling me that we are done. It's over.
Our floor director
It's
is telling us
done.
to wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Megan, where can they find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
You can find me on Twitter at Sabina has no R. And I link out all my tweets for everything I do. I always post the Legion of Leia podcast, which goes up every Thursday. And that's on iTunes, so subscribe.
Yeah, do it. And you guys can follow me everywhere at Chris Lee. Don't forget to follow us at The Movie Chick with 2 Ks like me. Go to our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe. And then go down in the comment section below and let us know what you think of what we talked about today and if there's anything you want to talk about next week. And don't forget, send us your questions. askthemoviechick@gmail.com. Chick always has 2 Ks. And we will see you guys next week.